self-serving, persuasive talkers
of everything and nothing.
We are Conversation Con Artists. What's going on? It's your boy, Mr. On Point.
And I am Calamity Red.
And we are Conversation Con Artists, back for another episode with some special guests from the podcast Black.Married.Fly. Y'all can introduce yourselves.
Hey y'all, I'm Treblemaka.
And I'm Candace, DeNae.
And we appreciate you guys having us on, but we have a podcast called Black.Married.Fly. It's basically about us, being a Black married fly couple, talking about all sorts of stuff having to do with, marriage and relationships and things like that. We thought it'd be, something dope to have, because I was looking for a podcast at one point, concerning marriage that I could relate to, and I didn't find any, so I figured I'd start one.
And now we're here.
Yup.
How deep are y'all into y'all podcast right now?
We are on the next episode will be 28.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what time and day do y'all release that so everybody listening can check it out?
Thursday mornings. And you can find that on bynkradio.com, on SoundCloud, on iTunes. We're in the process of getting on Stitcher and Google Play.
Okay. Black.Married.Fly.
Yes, sir.
And what y'all social media look like?
So Black.Married.Fly, you can that's at Black.Married.Fly on Twitter, at Black.Married.Fly on Instagram. You can send us an email, blackmarriedfly@gmail.com. My Twitter and Instagram are Treblemaka at Treblemaka, Treblemaka. That's both Twitter and Instagram. And what's your Twitter and Instagram, babe?
Candace DeNae on everything. That's CANDACE_DENEA.
Twitter,
everything,
Instagram, everything. Okay, everything.
Okay, cool. Y'all check out Black.Married.Fly. We finna get into this podcast episode. You can find, I need y'all to go to the website, check out www.conversationconartists.com for the links to our current podcast as well as stories surrounding it, our old episodes, as well as hovering over to the left where you can leave us some mail feedback. You can find me at Twitter at Mr. MISTER_on point.
And I can be found at Red_Calamity. Also, we are still doing the listen letter portion of the show. So if you have a question that you would like for us to answer on the show, you can send it in to the website, or you can send it into our Gmail account, which is conversationconartists with an S at gmail.com. And because this episode is going to be a purely relationship-based episode, the question for this week is going to be whether or not couples should be social media official. So like Facebook official, I don't know where, like the couples that have the dual Facebook accounts or dual Twitters where it's like such and such and Jan. Like if that's necessary or healthy.
Jan.
Really the guest answer first.
What y'all think about that?
I think I want to say whatever floats your boat. Like me personally, I think sometimes couples might have reasons for, not being official on Facebook because they don't want everybody in their business, or, maybe they don't think a relationship gonna last, so they don't want awkward questions. Maybe this person's just a side piece. I don't know.
No, you can't be repping a side piece on social media.
At all. Party foul. Immediate man law. Strike. So I don't know. Like I think like for me and her, like, when we got official, we put it on, Facebook and all of that. But
I mean, I needed to.
You need to.
Yes, because I still had my would have been baby daddy on my tail.
Oh yeah,
so
that's right.
Like, let me just publicize that.
Wait, you want to be baby daddy?
Would have been.
Would have been.
Would have been. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll not get into. We won't get into technically how that works. Like that's yeah.
But the point is, it served a greater purpose.
Yes, it did.
It wasn't just because I was oh my goodness, I just want everybody to know that I'm with him. I was like, no, I want a certain somebody to know that I'm with him. All our mutual friends, spread the word.
Because unfriending him wasn't enough, apparently.
That's sad, but I don't. The joint account where it's just like, it's Candace DeNae and Treblemaka's Facebook, like that's gay as fuck. Like,
yeah, I don't get that.
I can't trust him to have his own social media account. We can't be together.
Yeah, where people kind of mush theirs together.
Yeah,
and it's just one account. That doesn't make any sense to me.
I wonder what brings that about. I wonder if there's like one person insecurity and be like, the only way you can be on Facebook if we both on Facebook type situation.
I feel like it has to be, because under what other circumstances would you want that?
I think some people like real undisciplined with their DMs is what causes that kind of thing.
I just wouldn't have it.
The
I just
DM.
wouldn't have Facebook. I ain't
Right.
got nothing to hide, but it's about like my freedom.
Mhm.
With you, I wouldn't have no Facebook. If we had to share Facebook, wouldn't be no Facebook. I'd be like, I'm out. I got married. That's my go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just suspending the joint. I don't know. To each his own. Like I always think them things look dorky, but it's not my relationship, so I ain't trying to pass too much judgment.
Yeah, if it worked for their relationship, then whatever.
I think you have to be in agreement though, because I done had situations where couples like she mad because like she sent him a relationship request and he ain't accepted it, and it's like, well, why you don't want nobody to know we together? Why we can't? You know what I mean? Like, so sometimes it can cause problems. So what?
So she just don't know she's the side piece yet. Maybe he's still trying to work some things out that you don't know about yet.
Possibly.
Cause I ain't never heard a woman like when dudes like, all right, I'm finna make it official on Facebook. She's like, no, don't do that. I've never heard a woman say that. I
Yeah,
heard
she
guys
was
say
that.
like, let's hold off, but I've never heard a woman say that. Yeah.
What about? So I had a situation where like my last relationship, we had like a silent breakup. Like nobody in the world knew that it was a breakup even coming. It wasn't no situation, and so we stayed like in a relationship. We talked about it. It was like, look, let's just stay in a relationship, hide it,
Wow.
nobody don't know.
Wow.
And then, like a year from now, we'll take it off of that situation. Because nobody wanted to answer no questions. Like neither one of us wanted to answer no questions about what happened.
And that's one of the things you have to like take into consideration when you do that is you're inviting people into that situation. So people are gonna have questions like, why y'all ain't in a relationship no more? What happened? Because doesn't it say like when you take the status down, does it say like such and such broke up? I don't know how it works. I've never
It
been
used
Facebook
to.
official. Okay.
I haven't changed my status that way in like 4
Filter it
years.
around now.
Oh,
Like
okay.
you can set it to where it's public, and then when you change it, it changes publicly, or you can set it to where like, yo, if you happen to creep on my actual wall, like you gonna see I'm out of this relationship type of situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and like that depends on what kind of family you got. Like some families don't accept the answer, mind your business. You know what I'm saying? Like so when they start asking, you got questions. Then I completely get that.
Yeah.
In your business type of family. So if we broke up publicly, fakely, or anything, I'm gonna get about 18 phone calls. Girl, what's going on?
We
Don't
married,
you be
though.
treating that boy like that. What's wrong with you?
We married though. It is a little bit different being
Even when
married.
we were dating, like the first time you came to California, like they was on me about fixing your plate. You let that man fix your plate. You didn't fix it. I was like, word.
I got friends on my Facebook that like they ain't proclaimed they in a relationship, but they always putting a picture with some people hands in it, or like them next to their shoulder, so you can see it's another shoulder next to theirs. It's like I don't want to let you in too much. I want to let you know there's something going on, but that's all you need to know.
Relationship coming soon.
So one of the dorky things like me and Candace used to do was like when we were, still going through the are we gonna be permanent kind of phase? Is this gonna be official kind of thing? It's like we would leave like stupid songs like on each other's wall, like some YouTube was some song, some lovey dovey R&B type of song or some song that we feeling, something like that. And yeah, so people started putting that together. It's like why do these two friends keep leaving these kind of LSG type of songs on each other's walls? Like what's going on?
So like people
But-
who knew y'all the most was kind of seeing it and getting it,
Yeah.
putting pieces together.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like everybody knew but us, so
It kind of.
It be that way sometimes. Sometimes other people can see what you can't see, or what you don't see till later. So
That's why I don't like therapists.
why?
Cause
You see
like
too
okay,
much?
that's part of it. The parts of a person that they already know about, but they don't like to acknowledge. Therapists like to bring up. You know what I'm saying?
Well, not all things. Like I don't do that to
So-
people. Now, if you ask me my opinion, I'm gonna give it to you.
That's
So
fair.
everybody gets a disclaimer that knows me. Don't ask me if you don't want to know, because you might get an answer you don't like. But like, I don't just go around like, even if I see something in somebody, I don't just go around being like,
No, I
seem a little
only
depressed.
mean within like a session. That's what I mean.
Oh,
I don't
well,
mean like
that's what you're
therapist
here
people
for.
are a certain. Yeah, and that's why I want to leave.
Now, too, I guess to your point, there are a lot of people outside of a session that have the knowledge and they try to impart that just randomly,
Man.
sporadically, without any prompt. You know, and there are some therapists in a session that will take that information and they just don't do what you need them to do with it. So it's off-putting to the situation. You know.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing I always tell my clients, like, especially like the first session, if we not vibing, it's cool. I can help you because like it's only gonna work if you feel comfortable talking to me. So like if you feel weird or like you don't want to disclose, that's cool. But you need to let me know that so I can find you somebody or help you find somebody that you do. Because the only way that it works is if you like can be open and talk to that person.
And it's the same for any relationship. I feel like if it's my job to make you comfortable enough to talk to me. Yeah. It's not expected of you to talk to me just because I'm a person that's supposed to know how to talk to people.
Yeah, that's not.
So if you don't want to say nothing, don't say nothing. If you can't, I hadn't done my job, and we might not mesh enough for me to be able to get that, get you that open with me. And so, it's just somebody else will fit you.
Because the thing is, like, we bring our personalities to the job, so you know what I'm saying. And because of that, you may not mesh with somebody because their persona, their personality outside of the office may not be one that you would vibe with anyway. And so in session, we all have basically the same knowledge. Our approach is going to be different. And so, you may not vibe with them. And I've had that happen. Sometimes I was glad that they were like, no, like, you know what? I feel it too. Let me help you find somebody else. I was feeling, when we were here, I was feeling it too.
Yeah.
But it's like any other relationship. It's not going to be an automatic fit. Us having a degree doesn't make us like a perfect fit for everybody that walks in the office. And you have to be humble enough. I feel like some therapists aren't, but I feel like you have to be humble enough to recognize that you ain't gonna be a fit for everybody, and that's cool.
Okay.
How it works. So.
Anything else about
social media?
Don't share an account.
Yeah, don't
be individual.
Sharing accounts is whack. Definitely.
Every time I see that, I'm just like, why? What would you do this for? If I'm sending a message, how I know which? Like, I may be sending it specifically to this one part of the couple. Now, I don't know who gonna see it.
Like, what I end up doing, like, because I have a couple of friends that have their Facebook that way. Bro, what's your number? I'm just gonna text you. Like, I'm not gonna do the Facebook Messenger thing with, and I don't know who I'm talking to. I don't.
Because what if you're not friends with Jan? You're only friends with Steve.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
Jan and Steve. White bread.
Because I feel like
and you know what?
Last names to do this.
To be real, like a person wanting to share a Facebook kind of relationship, it's just a very small, minuscule part of the issue that you're gonna be dealing with that person in a relationship.
That's real.
If they are territorial enough to not want you to have the freedom to be able to have your own set of friends and your own set of communication and trust you to do that without any issues, then you got more problems than just trying to figure out Facebook.
Right.
I mean, guess what? You can have multiple accounts. Like, yeah, okay, you want to have one with the two of us? Cool. I'm just going to go over it. If I'm going to do something outside of our relationship, you making us have this joint account ain't going to stop that from happening.
That's true. That's true, too.
You need to take a look at the relationship, because I could just make another account under a different name and still be out here getting hoes. So, then what?
Yep.
Exactly.
I agree.
I'd love to ask somebody that, though. Why'd you guys do that?
Because I got caught tweeting in somebody's Twitter DMs. It's the only way I get to interact with people.
Yeah,
now.
it's the only way she take me back.
Like one of your old church friends that's a woman holler at you, and now your partner see it, and your relationship bad for 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Minimum. 2 weeks minimum. Like, first thing you tell me, you should not have sent me this message.
You gotta reply strong immediately. How come you didn't check her? I didn't, just try to be nice.
Listen, tell me what to do. I will know for next time.
Right.
Next time.
People be like, so see, I used to write spoken word, and so I was friends with somebody on Facebook that also wrote. So I posted a poem, and I've tagged a bunch of people in it. his girlfriend in my inbox at the time asking me questions, and I'm like, girl, like, first of all, he was one of like 100 people tagged. Secondly, he's not my type. Like, if you're that upset because I wrote a poem and tagged him in it, his name wasn't in it, wasn't about him, had nothing to do with him, but they already were having problems because he was a serial cheater, which wasn't my business. I didn't have nothing to do with that. But like, Facebook just creates more problems in relationships that aren't solid, I feel like.
Facebook just enables a lot of fuckery. Like if you already got, BS tendencies, like Facebook can amplify that if you don't control it properly. That's all. It's just another tool to be used however you want to use it.
True.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
Well, I believe that answered that as much as possible.
We just can't relate.
No.
We really can't.
Yeah.
If you have a question that you would like for us to answer on the show, you can send it in through the website, or you can send it into our Gmail account, which is conversationconartists with an S at gmail.com.
I have a question before we move on to the next thing.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Calamity Red, are you still doing your YouTube?
I do.
Okay.
Upon
I
occasion.
tuned into that. I'm very interested. Interesting stuff. And if y'all ain't familiar, she got a great YouTube.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's up.
Vlog. All right, sorry, didn't mean to derail that.
Oh no, you
show,
good.
sir.
You good. Yeah, I mean, at any point, if y'all got something y'all want to interject, that is perfectly fine.
Okay.
But the premise of this show is, we got
Oh yeah, I didn't even explain that shit.
we got a couple of therapists over here who work with couples, who have worked with couples, who just have, I guess, a hint of formal knowledge about relationships.
I feel like I need to preface this by saying I fucking hate couples counseling. Let me just say that. It's one of my least favorite types of counseling to do. I actually get sad when I see couples on my book. And the only reason is because people wait way too late to like come in and want your help. Because if by the time they come in, you didn't call him all kind of MFs and you been a bitch and like, what you want me to do with this? Like, y'all can't undo this. You should have came 3 months ago.
What happened is the woman for the longest be like, we need to go to counseling. We need to go to counseling. And then when that sparkle in her eye die, he be like, we can go to counseling.
Yep.
That sparkle gone. This got the fuck on.
Gone.
It's a wrap. And she'll go just to entertain that shit, but it ain't gonna work.
Why my first session, I split them up. I have them each come back individually, and I say, what is your purpose in coming to counseling? Is it to save this relationship, or is it to get rid of this relationship? Because we could do either. I just need to know the direction that we need to go in. And sometimes the woman will come back and be like, I've been asking him to do this forever. Now he want to do it. I'm done. I just need, we just need to be done. Then he'll come back and be like, I mean, I just, I feel like we need to work on this, and I'm really sorry. And I just, I want my marriage. I really, and it's like,
it sounds like you and me arguing. Those two voices she did.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. I just want him to understand why I'm out.
I think a lot of guys have a low emotional intelligence quotient. You know what I'm saying? Like we pick up, at least me and some of the guys I know, we pick up on things a little bit slower, a little bit later, as far as like gauging like where a relationship might actually be at. Because I think some women are good at getting over something in the moment, even though it's still bothering them, but they maintain like it's not still bothering them, even if it's still festering. So it's like, oh, okay, her mood's better now today. So whatever I did yesterday must be straight. It's like, no, it's not straight, and it manifests in different ways. That's all.
We don't talk about that. We gonna get there.
Man, society has just really forced men to suppress their emotional selves. It ain't that we don't have it. It's just society done told us that it don't really benefit us to have emotions.
Other than being angry. You can be angry. That's the only emotion that's
well,
fit.
I mean, I don't think it say we can be angry. I just think that's the easiest one to pull all of them emotions into. Like,
but it's the most accepted. Like, people will accept you being angry more than they'll accept you coming crying. Like,
well, that's the toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, clearly you can't cry every day.
Well, no.
You know what I'm saying? But at a certain point, if you done held it down for like 3 years and then you cry one time, that shouldn't be something that make it be like, give us your man card, bro. It's a wrap.
Right.
You know?
But if you're told from like a small boy, like big boys don't cry, wipe them tears, boys don't cry. That sticks with a kid. And then you grow up thinking that, it's not okay for you to be emotional. And you suppress it, and it usually comes out in angry ass ways. And you be sitting in my
Mm-hmm.
office.
And I realized
Right.
that shit like when I was behind the bar at Red Lobster. I realized how fucked up that toxic masculinity
Yes.
shit was. I had a family come up. They were waiting to get a table, and the mom ordered a strawberry daiquiri for her son. And the dude got mad. He said, "My son ain't be drinking no damn strawberry daiquiris. Give him a strawberry smoothie." And
Because
I was
that's
like,
a lot better. What the fuck
What?
difference is that?
in his head,
How old was
clearly
this child?
he had connected daiquiris with drinks that women drink. And
They look the
I was
same,
like, sir,
bruh.
it's the same thing with milk in it. It's the exact same thing with fucking ice cream in it.
My
So
question
I realized,
Candace had a
child.
legitimate question. This was going to be a virgin daiquiri, I hope, because you keep saying child.
yeah, virgin
You didn't say virgin. You just
daiquiri.
said daiquiri.
Yeah, it was
Clear that
gonna be a
up.
virgin daiquiri. I ain't gonna lose my
I
job
mean,
out here.
that was a real plot twist though, man. Like I was expecting them to say, "Don't give him no daiquiri, give him a rum and coke or something like that." Like smoothie.
Oh, strawberry
For
smoothie.
real.
Yeah,
It's still gonna have that fruit on the side of the glass and shit. Like that
Mm-mm.
ain't no different.
it was just so stupid. Cause I essentially poured the exact same drink into the blender and added ice cream to it and gave it back to the boy. Like, I hope he learned something passively
Yeah.
from this. I'm trying to get a tip. I ain't gonna say shit.
Yeah.
Yo, passive aggressive ass.
It one of those situations where you want to look at the woman dead in the eyes and be like, "You made this decision. You did this to yourself and your family."
Yeah. Right. Right.
It's your choice.
I think there's a lot to that though. Toxic masculinity, I think, is something that ends up being one of those. How do I put it? Buzzwords.
Yeah.
That a lot of people get up in arms about. On both sides of that situation. But I think it is a real problem in a lot of ways, and I think it's reinforced by multiple parts of society. So it's not a situation where most women feel that men should be expressive in their emotions. It's like a lot of women have that same kind of masculine standard for a man that isn't necessarily positive, and all the guys around him will reinforce that too. Like you said about the crying.
Yeah.
I cry all the time.
I know. I'm so pro
She said, I know.
Black men aren't allowed to have any emotions. Y'all can't be sad. Y'all can't be angry. Y'all can't be anything but neutral.
Yeah.
Of course, I need to be happy. So I'm
Right.
just like, I guess. You can't cry. But if you anything other than black man, maybe you can get away with some other emotions. If you're black man, don't get too happy because now you're gonna get a little jigaboo right going, and don't get too mad because now everybody's here and you're gonna rape your daughter. So
Right.
it's no win here.
It's a tightrope.
So all of that came from we got the therapist side of this episode today. But look, I like that. I like that flow. I like how it went. But Treblemaka and Candace represent the actual experience of a relationship. We got a little bit of hint of book knowledge about maybe relationships, but like it's so vast. It's like a star in the galaxy. Hell, the amount of information the books give you versus reality and dealing with actual relationship.
Oh yeah.
So we just got like some do's and don'ts of relationships from the therapeutic perspective and then from the relationship perspective, and then we just gonna elaborate on some of that stuff.
Let me get on my soapbox real quick though for anybody listening, because I can't stand this shit for people to come in and look at my hands and see that there's not a ring there. And how are you gonna help me? You not even married. Is this about my marriage or is it about yours? Like, this isn't about me. What we do as therapists is we bring our knowledge and our training. You bring your experiences, your situation. It's a collaborative effort. This isn't a situation where I'm going to tell you what to do. You go out and do it and your life is all, roses and rainbows. Because that's not how it works. It's a collaboration. You've been going to your family and getting advice, and that shit hadn't worked out for you. That's not what this is. This is like a collaboration. So you bring your experiences. Even if I was married, it wouldn't be about my marriage, and I shouldn't be making it about my marriage. It should be about you guys. So please don't go into your therapist's office if you are a couple that ends up going into a therapist and say, well, you're not married. What do you know? I don't. Whatever it is you tell me about your relationship, that's what I know.
Mm.
People be trying to use that shit to invalidate the stuff that they don't like that you say.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And realistically, you there because it's some shit that need to be said that you ain't gonna like.
Yep.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
So
And
I
obviously,
like
if just being married gave you the answers, y'all wouldn't be coming in here sitting in front of me.
that's facts. Facts. Like, and I think that's one of the misnomers about therapy. Like, I have been to a therapist multiple times, especially when I was younger. Um, I think a lot of people look at it as a car mechanic, like the therapist is a car mechanic, like it's a completely passive experience. So I go in there, I tell them what my problem is, and then I lay back and the therapist just fixes everything, and then they give me my car back and I go home, you know. And it's more like to me it's more like a gym trainer, somebody in the gym, you know, somebody who they may not already necessarily have all the experience for where you want to be, but they have all the book knowledge. You know, they've been taught this is the best way to go about solving this particular problem based on whatever your individual circumstance is.
and that's how I explain counseling to people is it's just at the point in time when you get a certain from when you start, our life, it's a big ball of knots just tangling up in your head. And therapy is just a way to help untangle some of them knots. And once you start getting them untangled, therapy is just supposed to help you be able to maintain keeping them untangled. Therapy is working with you to not have to work with you.
Yeah.
It ain't supposed to be no long. Narcissistic personality. So it's some shit that you need to work with somebody for a long time. But for the most part, therapy is supposed to be, it's time sensitive. It's supposed to be done. You're supposed to learn skills, and you're supposed to be able to maintain that situation.
Okay.
Everybody know, like, no therapist should be giving you advice.
Nope. And if they are, run fast.
Advice, because if I tell you, hey, Troublemaker, this is what you need to do, and you come back, in a wheelchair with 2 legs gone, now it's my fault. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Bad advice.
And so, like, well, damn, clearly my advice fucked you up. You know what I'm saying? We don't put ourselves in that position. If a therapist is putting themselves in that position, then that's not a good therapist to be at, because I'm supposed to be helping you make the decisions that are most congruent with who you are and who you want to be. That don't have nothing to do with what I know. You know what I'm saying? That just have to do with what you know.
Yeah.
So every therapist don't look at it like this, though.
Yeah.
Some of them are ass.
Yeah.
Some of them need to be in a different profession.
Damn.
Y'all know it's true. Because I done came across a couple and I'm like, they give
not
you your
qualified,
license,
bro.
though?
Yeah.
5 new ass therapists every conference I go to.
Man.
Ass therapist.
That do sound weird. Like
Yes,
a therapist
it
for
does.
your
Dog.
ass.
No, this therapist is ass, dog. Don't fuck with him. he gonna have you in that wheelchair with 2 legs gone.
Exactly.
You want
Fucked
to
up.
start with your list? Or you want to start with mine?
Let's do a round table thing. You do one. Y'all choose who want to do one of y'all's, and then I'll go. Then we can go back and forth. Y'all want to do it like that?
Yeah.
Sure.
We can do it like that.
Yep.
Okay. One of my dues is do communicate effectively, though. Communication only works if it's done like in the right way, right? So from a therapist perspective, that includes like, I statements, that includes reflective listening. Reflective listening is essentially before I respond to what it is that you say, I repeat it back to you how I heard it, not verbatim, because that comes off as snarky. How I heard it. It serves 2 purposes. The first purpose is if I know I gotta repeat back what you said, I'm more likely to listen. I can't repeat it back if I wasn't listening to what you said. Secondly, if I repeat it back how I heard it and it was wrong, you can be like, no, that's not what I meant at all. What I meant was this. So just making sure that you communicate in an effective way, because people don't do that. They let stuff fester. Like you were talking about earlier, where it's like, oh no, I'm fine. Okay, she's fine. And then, a couple of hours later, I just really think it's funny how that type of situation. So
You over here like, now I don't want to punch a hole through your chest so we can talk about it.
So what's funny about that, like for me, is like the repeating back thing. I get that part where I just repeat back what she says verbatim when I'm doing that. And for us, I don't know if she would admit this, but like I feel like this is how she knows we're about to start arguing. Because I'll repeat what she said back to her verbatim and then start trying to take it apart. Like, this is what I don't understand about it, and that's like the starting point of the argument, and it just goes from there.
Basically, like at that point, just go ahead and ring the bell because it's on.
Yeah, ding ding ding. Yeah,
Like that's it. But it's because I feel like he's not trying to interpret anything. He's just repeating what I said, and I'm just like, I know what I said.
and I'd be like, well, this is what you said, and this is why I took it this way, rather than trying to
That's
understand
why
what
it's
she's
not
saying.
verbatim.
Yeah,
Just hit record and then press play back.
right.
That's why you don't repeat it back verbatim, because it's supposed to be your take on it. So that if your take on it isn't right, then she could correct you and just say, no, that's not what I meant. What I meant was this. But if you repeat it back verbatim, I don't know if you took anything from it. Like, all you doing is just saying what I said like a parrot.
Okay. Yeah.
So
in a relationship with the parrot, them shit's over.
And you can't be like all condescending with it either. You can't be like, okay, so what I heard is your childhood issues and your insecurities have trickled over into the thread of our relationship.
Yeah.
And you trying to figure out how I can fix that.
I got a friend, me and him communicate kind of the same way we both do that. She do the childhood issues part, but yeah.
But the thing is, it's okay to talk about the childhood issues. It's okay to talk about insecurities, but not in the middle of the bullshit.
no,
Like,
Right.
exactly.
Okay.
When the bullshit is gone, we need to get out. We don't need to bring up this stuff during a time of heated exchange. Now's not the time to talk about them issues and stuff. That's conversation to have when it's time to just have a conversation. It's time to communicate about life and what we done experienced and what we've gone on. And the last time we argued, I think some of that came from blah 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 blah. As I sat back and thought about it and reflected. When it's your calm and peace. Not saying that won't even turn into an argument, but at least it will be some productive conversation by the time that is over.
Okay.
The point of that conversation is to resolve whatever that current problem is. A lot of times people want to take on 2-3 issues. Don't do that because it's overwhelming and somebody gonna get upset. Whatever it is that started this conversation, stick to that. Don't go off and be like, well, and then last week, because I've been meaning to bring this up. Don't do that. One topic at a time. And just kind of, you want to repeat it back in a way that you would receive it. So don't, about being condescending, don't say it in a way that is going to provoke that person. Because the thing about relationships, the closer you are, the quicker what those buttons are to mash. So what those words are, what that tone is that'll get they goat, and then y'all gonna be arguing. That's not the point, the purpose.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's mine.
So another thing about communication from my perspective is it's not just talking. Communicating means, talking, but as it pertains to a relationship, the way I look at it is communicating is allowing that person to know your thoughts, your fears, your desires, everything. And I think men a lot of the times get into a pattern of not all men, but I've been reading some Facebook threads where apparently this is a common thing for men. When they get into a slump or get into a situation, they withdraw and they be quiet and they don't, communicate with the world. From my standpoint, that is the only person in the world that exists that is supposed to be able to help you with your fears, to help you with your anger and your frustration. And it might put a little stress on them, but that's not a reason not to have that dialogue, because they the ones that are carrying your stress for you, as you'll carry that stress for them from time to time. So communication goes deeper into just dialogue. It goes into understanding that person and knowing that that is the person that you want to most deeply know and understand you and help you with the things that you struggle with.
Okay.
And the other side of that, my don'ts, because my don'ts and do's like lined up. Don't drop hints. Just be direct. If you need something for somebody, just don't be, should know, I shouldn't have to say. Well, she should have knew, I shouldn't have had to say. Like, don't do that. If it's important enough for you to bring it up. Don't drop hints. Like, if I live with somebody and I got to go to work today and he off, it would be insane for me to take, he off, he can wash these clothes. But I'm not going to tell him that. I'm just going to take all the dirty clothes and put them on the bed. And I'm going to leave. Because he don't see that. He going to know what that means. But guess what's going to happen when I come back home? Them damn clothes going to still be on the bed. Because he going to be like, I didn't know I thought you were going to do something with them. I didn't want to touch it. I didn't know. be direct. Like if you need something from somebody, especially the person that you're with, that's who you're supposed to be able to go to. So don't be so quick to assume that they're going to automatically be able to read your mind, or like people feel like we've been together long enough, he should know. That's not how that works. Like if it's something that you need and you're not getting, be direct. Don't be dropping hints. Don't be like, I thought you would figure it out because I haven't been coming home. Don't do that. Just be direct and honest. Don't drop hints. That don't work. Sometimes people don't get your hints. And sometimes they ignore the shit out of your hints. But if I ask you for it directly and you don't give it to me, now we have an issue.
Yeah.
If I'm dropping hints, I don't know if you actually figured it out or not.
So one of the things, like, I think Candace DeNae like had a bit of difficulty like swallowing it that way, to where it's like, all right, I have to do it this way now, because what it used to be was like sometimes she has to work on Saturdays. I don't work on Saturdays, so she'll leave the house and it'll be the same kind of illustration you gave, like with the dirty clothes, the pile of clothes not folded, and they just sit right back there. Like when she got home, she can find me playing 2K and the clothes are right there next to me, not done at all. So what she started doing now is like she'll send me a little message, "Hey, honey, it'd be great if you did the following." Dot 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 dot. And most of them get done now that she's doing it that way. But at the same time, like she'll be indirect sometimes, and it's cute in a way, but sometimes it's kind of irritating. Like
I'm wishing I had a cup of water right now.
That's what I'm saying. Like she'll say stuff like, "Man, I sure am thirsty." Like, why don't you ask me to get you some water, yo? That's what you want.
Parched.
Yeah.
Like sitting here like, man, I should have got a cup before we sat down to do this.
Dang, I'm thirsty.
I wish she was reading my thoughts.
She don't even say, "Robert, I'm thirsty." She say, "Man, I sure am thirsty." Like she just talking to the sky or something. we talk about
A nice glass of water would be perfect right now.
Yeah, man, talk to me about what you want.
But while we're talking about communicating, I do think that body language, like how you receive someone telling you that directly that they need something. Like if you sit with your arms crossed, if you don't look at them, like look up from your phone, look at what they saying, like, you might as well ring the bell for that too, because depending on who you're dealing with, just saying yeah, but ain't making no eye contact, that's not a good sign.
No, it's not. And it's just rude as shit. Like it's just rude. Like
look, I'm gonna get a fellas a little tip right here. If you play games, shit. All right. If you're a fella that play a game and you into 2K and you playing and she asks you something, if your shoulders immediately drop, you got a situation now.
You do.
You need to be intentional about your body language. Like you need, in your head, you need to be saying, "Okay, maintain the same position I'm currently in as she's asking me this thing, while I decide how I'm going to go about it."
I mean, what would be ideal is if you pause while keeping your shoulders up, turned and looked at her directly and said, "What? I didn't hear you. I'm playing a game."
Man, that is not going to go over well at all if I said
It's going to diffuse whatever she thought you should have heard when she was talking to you and you weren't listening because you were playing the game the first damn time.
Shoulders drop.
Look,
I remember that.
So I'm a gamer. So the situation becomes games today. You need to know what games he played, because pause ain't really gonna work all the time. If you were playing online, like I got a pro-am team on 2K.
Oh yeah? Okay.
I got people depending on me for 25 minutes in a 25-minute spurt. Paul, like if I just started a game, I'm sorry, we got a 25-minute minimum on me being able to do something.
Okay, but what's more important, this next 25 minutes or the next 25 years?
That's why I'm saying, listen, that's why I'm saying, no, have the knowledge, understand, and don't need nothing for them 25 minutes.
Exactly.
And when you walk in and you see fourth quarter on that thing, okay, I got 3-4 minutes left. I'm gonna get all I can in between that.
And I don't see anything wrong with being aware and maybe making a little bit of room, knowing that at 3 p.m. on Fridays he got this game for 25 minutes. Get it popping afterward.
Right.
Or maybe get it popping before so you can play hella shitty that game. Maybe that's your direction.
We don't do that on Pro-Am. Ain't no hella shitty on Pro-Am.
But that's part of the communication, just sharing, like when you, especially once you cross over into either marriage or you're living together and sharing a space, those kind of conversations need to happen, because it makes stuff a lot easier, especially if y'all arguing over the same stuff. If you playing every day at the same time, I obviously don't need to be coming and asking you for stuff during that time, because I know you're not going to listen. You're not hearing me at all. And then I'm going to have to repeat it and I'm going to be angry when I could just wait. So like that that's just part of the communication and kind of getting to know each other and making sure that you're being considerate of each other as well. So that's part of the communication. I feel like is like I play every Saturday at 3. So
all that show on the back burner until 3:30.
We'll talk about it before then. Yeah.
So what we got from the experience side?
My first don't is are we just doing dudes first?
Doesn't
Doing
matter
Let's do both of them. She did
Okay.
do and don't.
Okay.
because mine was tied together. So
My first don't is don't nag. Um, it doesn't really to me it doesn't really do anything constructive. Like, and there's a difference between like nagging and somebody not listening and you having to get your point across in different ways. But if you're saying the same thing repeatedly, like over and over and over and over and over again, like that's supposed to motivate the person to go do something else, it all it does is make, at least me, it makes me more frustrated. She don't really nag me no more. There was a point where she used to, and I wasn't very receptive to it. Now she got other ways to communicate with me, like as far as like the nag thing goes. So she might restate it a different way. She might say, "Hey, I need to talk to you," and then increase the amount of importance that she has on this one specific thing.
Or I might
But
get mad aggressive and unplug the video game.
you ain't done that,
I would though.
man. Yeah, that's what I deal with. That's what I deal with.
I would if I got it.
But so I think stereotypically it's women that nag. I think guys nag too. They nag for different things. You know what I'm saying? They may nag differently, but like just using the same mode of communication with the same verbiage over and over and over and over and over again to try to get your point across with something is just ineffective. It's like banging your head up against a brick wall. So that's my first don't.
definition of insanity: doing exactly the same thing, expecting a different result.
Yes,
Does
ma'am.
that work?
So where does a couple find the balance between one person trying to get something done and the other person not listening? Like at what point do you realize which is which?
So for me, it's more about I have to identify what it is that I want done. Like I have to don't do that.
That's what you just did.
It's I have to examine what it is that I want her to do. Like, for example, something, and I have to see, do I really want her to do this? Do I need her to do this? What's the importance of her doing this? And if it looks like to me she's not receptive, she doesn't want to do it, we'll discuss why. And then I have to weigh out how important is this to me to get done. If it's not that important, I'll let it go. If it is that important, then I'm gonna push back some more. What's your thoughts?
I mean, he's really sterile in like everything that he does. Like he might as well be like the computer robot man. Like it needs to be very literal. It needs to be very sterile. It needs to be very clean cut instruction, or it doesn't make sense to him.
No room for interpretation.
Pretty much, because like there's things that I say, I'll be like, why are you taking this so literally? But for me, I feel like when it comes to are you nagging or are you just straight the fuck up ignoring somebody, I think it's a fine line. Like to me, nagging is pick up your socks, pick up your socks. Nagging is not, hey, I need you to pay me attention, something's really going on.
Right.
Like at that point, depending on the nature of the subject, you just don't want to fucking hear that shit. You know, it's couples counseling and sit on Ray's couch and annoy the shit out of her.
Don't do
So
that.
I do really think it's subjective in that aspect to where, for me, like I grew up, my mom was a freaking Nazi about cleaning, like OCD status, need to have lines on the carpet when you vacuum. So being clean and picking stuff up really makes a difference to me. Whereas to him, it's just like whatever, like it's just socks on the floor. Like we don't have to make a bed every day. But explaining the importance is what I think makes the difference.
Yeah.
Like I will go crazy in a dirty house. He will not. But we keep it clean because we want my sanity.
That's not to say I'm a nasty person. I think she just likes things super organized, and I'm okay with things being messy as long as I know where everything's at. So then it goes back to like what she just said about like values. So like with the socks, the socks being on the floor like doesn't mean a whole lot to me as long as they eventually make it to the laundry bin. But that's because for me socks being on the floor doesn't mean much. So when she's like, if she was nagging me about it, it's like, okay, I don't see what the big deal is. She's not explaining what the big deal is to her, so it's whatever. Once she explains, hey, I need this for the following reasons, this is why I need this done, then it becomes do I respect her welfare within the relationship enough to change my behavior for it. You see what I'm saying?
So to me, that's the difference between nagging and just expressing. Like, if it doesn't fucking matter, then shut the fuck up. You don't need to keep saying shit all the time.
Yeah.
If it does matter and no actions following it, you need to explain why it does matter, and at that point, decide if this person really gives a shit or not.
Yeah. Like, I don't think you can nag about small stuff. I mean, big stuff. Like, if somebody's saying, you know, we don't spend enough quality time, and they're saying that over and over again, that's more of a cry for help rather than, you know, just nagging you. Nagging is always going to be, in my head, about small things that seem inconsequential unless somebody explains them.
So it sounds like nagging, a caveat to nagging is also that person communicating to you why it's so important to them for that thing to be resolved, so that you can go through your process of how am I going to now transition this into my system of, you know, fixing that thing.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
You want to give them the do? You know where we're at.
I can see it.
Okay.
Thank you.
We got them written down.
Apparently, right along with don't nag goes with do learn your spouse's love language. So, if y'all read that book, if you haven't read that book, 5 Love Languages, pretty good book for all couples to read, probably before y'all become a couple.
Definitely.
Just so you can know who you are in a relationship, if nothing else. I definitely think it helps because then you realize what your effective communication tools actually are.
And there's a test for that online that you can take to find. I mean, it's good to read the book, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can get the notes.
Yeah, to find out what your love language is. Yeah, that's important. And it's important to realize that how you receive love may not be how the other person receives love. The purpose of learning that love language is so you know what you need to do for the other person, and you know what to ask for from the other person. Because some people, you know, like to be, words of affirmation, intimacy, gifts,
touch,
physical touch, acts of service.
Yeah.
And then quality time.
Time. So if you're somebody that is a quality time person and you feel like, oh, just because we sit and we watch TV together, like I'm good with that, the other person might need for you to tell them like, let me know I look handsome today. Like, you know, you don't ever say anything about how.
Sometimes, so, if you don't.
I'm a words of affirmation person. She's an acts of service person.
Okay. So y'all know. So then that means that she's gonna have to tell you that you look nice from time to time, and you have to pick up your socks.
Right.
Help her out with stuff.
And cook and clean. You know when she don't expect it.
Struggles.
That means you also have to build up the culture of that in your relationship. If you know that you're a words of affirmation person, you got to give that to them for them to see that, you know, you want that back. Like, that's going to build a culture of, because if you don't do that thing to show them that that's what it means to you, then you're not going to get that back. Like, all of that stuff is going to diminish. All of that stuff is going to go away at some point. If nobody is doing anything, you know, or just one person is doing it and is not being reciprocated, even if that's not your love language, that's going to build a culture of your relationship of saying, you know, this is important to me, so I'm going to show her that it's important to me, and she's going to give it back, and it'll go back and forth like that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, my understanding, though, is that a lot of people, like, they love with their love language. So I give Candace compliments all the time. I tell her how nice she looks and how much I love her and all that kind of stuff. But
I got pretty girl syndrome, so you know how that goes.
Yeah, you do. You definitely do. But her love language is acts of service. So she's more receptive to, if she comes home after I do, you know, house is cleaned up and there's a cooked meal. At the same time, the way she loves me is doing stuff for me spontaneously. You know, it might be, you know, cooking something. It might be, you know, renting that new Batman animated movie that just came out, you know, for us to watch, something like that. Those kind of things. And I think because I'm not, like, that's not my love language, I have to get used to doing things that I don't think she's going to be receptive to because I'm not receptive to them. You understand what I'm saying? It's much easier if both people have the same love language, but we don't. And I don't think most couples
don't. Yeah, most couples don't. They don't.
Yeah. I think it sets the tone for how they want to receive that thing when they do it in a way that shows you that, you know, if I'm doing it in this way, I must want something similar. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, because even if they're giving you that love language, you know, that's supposed to be showing you how to receive that thing.
But I
Hmm.
think he's right. Most people do initially
Yeah.
love with the language that they receive it with, not
Yeah.
understanding that that may not be how that person receives it. Most of the time, you're going to do what you want back, if that makes sense. And so
Hmm.
sometimes, stepping outside of that and doing what the other person needs. In order to do that, first of all, she has to know what she needs before she can tell
Yeah,
you
that's real
what she
important.
needs. So
Hmm.
you have to learn your own before you can learn somebody else's, because you have to be able to explain to them what it is that you need as well. So it's important to know both sides. You need to know your own for sure, so that when you go into a new relationship, you can say, "Hey, I'd like to be, I need you to build me up. I need you to tell me I look nice. If I look nice, I need to hear that I'm appreciated."
Yeah.
Um, so that you can get that. Because again, don't drop hints. Well, you should just be telling me I look nice. Not necessarily.
Like I said, what if you don't look nice today? Like I'm supposed
Dang,
to pick it up.
dang.
Do something with
I,
that hair. Maybe we will. Maybe I will tell you look nice.
Like you just open up a whole new can of worms.
I like that phrasing you used on point though. The culture of the relationship, protecting the culture of the relationship. I haven't heard that phrase before, but I think that in summation is I think the place where a lot of couples end up going wrong. The culture of their relationship is just screwed up. It's like, it might be tempestuous or something, but there's something wrong with that inherently there, and then it spreads out to every other facet of the relationship.
Yeah.
Yep, it's like a virus.
Definitely
Yeah.
mess up everything.
Yup.
So my don't keep score.
Oh Lord.
It's really hard when you're not, because if you're a kind of person that just know what you do for people constantly, it's hard to not get some of those things back and not want to be like, well, I did this. That's
Yeah.
some hard shit
Yeah.
sometimes. Like, not even like for me, like with friends and with family, like I want to be like, I fucking bought you this shit like 2 years ago, right? I spent $500 on your ass. You know what
Right.
I'm
Right.
saying? Not that that stuff is not inside, but not keeping score means that you don't use that thing against your mate to try to achieve some of your own personal goals or whatever in the
Mhm.
relationship.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't I don't think me and her have that problem so much. I have that problem in other facets of my life, like, whether it's business or my 9 to 5 or something like that. I have a tendency to keep that tally then, almost as like ammo in my back pocket. So if things get crazy, I can be like, well, look at all these things I did and look at these things you ain't doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But because like I understand, like at least with me and her in our relationship, there are a couple of things that are just like unequal. Like I make more than she does, so I handle more of the finances. She's got a little bit more time, or she is more willing to do certain things. She has talents in other areas that contribute to the household. Love whether it's like making a budget or something like that, or keeping us organized and task focused. So those are things she handles. So there are areas like she covers my blind spots and I cover hers. You know what I'm saying? And because of that, I can't afford to keep a score, because then it's going to be like, well, troublemaker, you ain't doing none of these things at all, and I'm covering all of this. So
I'm just not petty wop like that.
okay,
Like I could,
yeah,
but like when it comes to the day to day type of stuff, it's not worth keeping score unless you want to have gray hairs. And I really think I'm too young to be forming gray hairs.
that's stressful.
Who did what? Did you put dog food in the dog's dish today? Like, did he get fed? Like, someone's gonna feed him. Let us know.
Right?
Apparently, he wasn't hungry.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Did he
not
die though?
But then,
Right.
basically. I'm just like, you bring the dish. But I agree with you. It's not worth it. It's not worth keeping score if you know all it's gonna do is cause problems later.
So, but one thing I do that's probably wrong is when we get into an argument, I like to defend myself by saying something I'm doing right that has nothing to do with the reason that the thing she brought up in the first place. Like she'll be like, "Yo, I've been telling you, how come you not, doing your part of the household chores?" It's like, "But I paid the rent." It's like, what's that got to do with anything, bruh? Like, get out of here with
I
that.
know. We not locked out. But these chores,
Yeah,
though.
stop deflecting on your shit.
that goes back to what I said before about staying on the current
Mhm.
issue and not
Yeah.
bringing up all this other stuff. It's
Just
hard
be
to
like,
do.
you right. I'm finna go wash the dishes right now. Like, I did pay the rent, but I'm finna go wash the dishes.
Yeah, that dark cloud still be in the room when I do that though, man. Like
Oh
she's
yeah,
still storming.
I mean, like, my personality is kind of like, yo, you brought up this rant, like, this is gonna change the fact that I wanted you to wash these dishes. Like, okay,
Yeah.
I know, I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
But these dishes
you know what? It might
piss me off now.
not even be a good idea to do the dishes. You might just need to just do whatever you gonna do and wait till everything calm over to do the dishes. Because it still ain't gonna make her no less angry at that point.
Right. I feel
Now
like,
she
man,
mad and you wash the dishes and you ain't gonna get nothing from it at the end of
right.
it. No
I'm
hugs.
gonna wait.
Kisses.
Yeah, I'm waiting until I can cash in these cool points. So when she's in a better mood, I'll wash the dishes.
Yeah, that might be a better situation.
Now that she in a bad mood for a long time, y'all gonna
Yeah,
use every
no.
dish in the house.
Damn dishes myself.
That's what she ends up doing. So whatever it is she told me to do, she ends up doing it herself. You know, scowling at me. You know, yeah. Like I can't even go back and get it.
Like, she
They
folded
just multiplied the shit times 10.
Yep.
Yep.
You didn't do it, and then I had to do it. Now it's double.
I'm here to notice that it's not done. I can do it myself now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where we at? You?
Yeah. This is more like as far as dating is concerned. So it's a do and a don't. Do hear what's said. Don't hear what you want to hear. If somebody tells you, I'm not trying to be in a relationship right now, or if somebody says, whatever it is, listen to them. Don't hear what you want to hear. Don't hear like, oh, well, he said that, but we've been going out for 4 months now. Surely he doesn't still feel that way. That's what he said.
I can
That's what he
change him.
meant. Don't hear what you want to hear. Don't put but or exceptions onto what somebody says. Take it at face value. If he said it, he meant it. If she said it, she meant it. If you meet somebody and she say, "Oh, I'm celibate. I'm not having sex," that is exactly what that means. And if that's not a situation that you can rock with, then that ain't the person that you need to be with. But don't hear like what you want to hear, like, "Well, she been celibate with these other niggas. She ain't gonna be celibate." That's not how that works. Not at all.
Yeah. That's one. Like, don't add conjunctions.
Yes.
You know, ands, buts, or ors on the whatever the person just said. Yeah.
Exactly. If they're
That can be
telling
difficult
you that,
sometimes.
it can be.
When you got an agenda, like you see a lot of potential in somebody or something like that. It's like, but they ain't trying to do it, and they an adult. So
I feel like as adults, we shouldn't be trying to change another adult like that. Like, don't come into this relationship trying to build a bitch. Like,
Oh my God. Yes.
met her. We're grown already.
but she's got so much potential.
But she ain't tapping into it and she don't want to. It's just gonna be problems for you. Unless
You
that
can't
person's
see-
like molding.
You can't see more potential in somebody than they see in themselves. That's what that happens. It's like, I see it and I'm gonna help him. And men do this sometimes too. I feel like women do it more, get these fixer uppers, and then you want to put all of this into him, and then he end up either being exactly the same way he was when you met him, or you do upgrade him, and now he want to upgrade because you ain't good enough for him. Like, don't get a fixer upper. Find somebody who already at your level.
Because you're going to fuck around and fix their ass up for somebody else, and that's when you're going to want to kill their goddamn
Exactly.
ass.
You're gonna be mad as fuck.
Then you're gonna be on point couch, like, yo, I was fixing this dude up and now I got a gat. Like, I'm fixing the couch. I need you to talk me down.
No. So, I mean, I guess like sometimes that can have unintended consequences. Like, so when me and Candace and they were just friends, and she was giving me like a lot of advice about, climbing the corporate ladder and all that kind of stuff.
Can I put a
And
disclaimer out
okay.
there? Like, we were friends for hella long before we'd ever dated, and there's some things that I 100% regret having ever told him
Yeah.
as friends that now bite me in the ass as a husband and wife.
Right.
So
So-
just for those who are in that, just watch what the hell you say if you think you might like them later.
So yeah, she was giving me like all this game and all these things like I might need to be doing. She was trying to spur me on to be a better guy with somebody with higher potential. And we ended up getting a relationship and getting married. And I kind of went to the moon with that. Like, okay, babe, I'm gonna found this business. I'm gonna try to get this record label. I'm gonna manage these artists. I'm gonna do all I can in my 9 to 5 and climb up the corporate ladder. And then she's like, "Where's our time?" I'm like, "No, I'm about here. I'm trying to be the best man possible." You know what I'm saying? Just like you were saying. You know what I'm talking about?
When, like, you wasn't my man. You was just a single nigga. Like,
She's staring straight off into past mistakes right now.
She said, "You weren't my man." Then.
all my
Looking
dudes
dead. She looking at some shit right there in front of her, but she looking into another dimension. Oh shit! I wish I would have did different.
basically, I'm like, if I would have known what I know now,
Yeah.
shut the fuck up sometimes.
I just felt so empowered.
now I'm over here like,
You did good at what you wish you wouldn't have did.
I know.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Requires so much attention. I'm like,
Yeah, so
gotta stop this.
and that's something I do need to work on, like in a full disclosure kind of manner. Like my eyes get too big for my stomach, and I start trying to do all these things outside the house without, making sure I maintain, what I started with. And because there's only 24 hours in the day, so
It is.
and if you're chasing all this other stuff, like you can chase it, but when you come back home, what you started with may not be there anymore. So it's very important that you maintain your garden, make sure you're pulling all those weeds up there, because you leave for a couple days, you come back, man, that garden all choked out. You know what I'm saying? Those plants ain't growing properly no more, and all you
Yeah.
guys is a bunch of big weeds. But it's your fault,
I'm
Candace.
I'm gonna add to what Red said. When somebody let you know who they are, believe them.
Maya Angelou.
Like
Mhm.
if they start like canceling dates, if they start being late consistently, if some shit going on that just don't feel right, when they start showing you who they are, believe them. Don't be on that. I'll make that motherfucker what I need him to be. We'll fix this. When you get somebody what they are, especially at the beginning, that's the time when motherfuckers are supposed to be making sure ain't no bullshit happening.
Right.
The representative.
Yeah.
Everybody sends their representative in. Like, this is Red's representative.
I like that.
Like this, don't look at the shit that's back here. Just look at the representative. Look at this package. Don't look behind there. Like that's what you get. So if what you getting at the beginning is shit, what you gonna get later is gonna be even shittier.
Like the representative, motherfuckers are who you want them to see until you comfortable enough with them to show you who the fuck you really are. You know what I'm
just have to
saying?
give that time. Everybody gonna be themselves. Everybody at some point that mask is gonna slip, and they're gonna be who they are. But people a lot of times don't give that time. Like 3 months is not enough for you to see who somebody is. It's just not. Like
I can maintain a lie for 3 months.
I know.
So what?
No, I said I can maintain a lie for 3 months.
Yeah,
That ain't difficult at all.
People can't hide they crazy forever now, but you gotta give it enough time for that crazy to come out.
Because it will. It will. They're gonna be. It's too difficult to not be who you are, and so it's gonna slip at some point. You either they're gonna let it slip, or you gonna start getting to know their friends and shit, and their family members. They gonna be like, we never said Johnny was gonna find nobody because he was just bringing a different girl every Thanksgiving, and you've been here twice.
Oh shit, twice.
If a
Family
motherfucker
fuck your
have
game
no
in a heartbeat.
Family.
What'd you say?
I said family will fuck your game up in a heartbeat.
All the way.
Yep.
You
Yeah.
ain't never brought a girl here twice. We didn't see you two
damn.
times.
Apologetic about the shit too.
Right.
Well, I didn't know I wasn't supposed to tell her that. How you didn't?
Why are you talking? Why? What's that got to do with her? That's grandma.
Because that last little helper he brought here, we just couldn't stand her.
Right.
She just
She was just fast. She came up here with a mini skirt on. So she came straight off the track.
And you got the crunchy face in the corner. Can't even explain none of that.
Gonna be a hell of
Like
a
grandma, I
ride.
would leave here if I knew this damn food wasn't gonna be so good.
Right.
But I want a good meal.
I'm gonna get this plate and I'm out.
So that being said, if somebody you just start talking to can't muster up the goddamn energy to keep the bullshit out of your eyes for 3 to 6 months, get him the fuck on.
Quick.
Leave that motherfucker.
Fast. Run. Because it don't get, it's not gonna get better. Like the bad stuff, if it's bad at the beginning, like I said, it's gonna be terrible. Because this is them trying. If them trying and shit, it's gonna be awful.
Oh,
I
man.
feel like we all laughing because we've been in that situation. It's like, damn.
Yeah.
Shit, I think motherfuckers spend most of their time in that situation before they find somebody worth a damn.
Shit, that's
Yeah.
all you spend in you spend all your time in that situation until you find the person you're gonna be with. All of the rest of that shit is shit that didn't work out for all of these reasons that we're talking about. So
Right. Right.
Okay. What y'all got on the experience side?
I'm gonna go with a don't take advantage of forgiveness. And this is
Take
this
jump for 500.
yeah, exactly. Don't for 500. Don't take advantage of forgiveness. I think guys are more notorious for doing that, whether it's, cheating and not doing something you're supposed to be doing or showing up late or, all that kind of stuff because in the back of your head, man, it's not a big enough deal for her to want to leave or anything like that. She'll forgive me about it and we'll keep moving. I think most people though they have a bullshit meter, and once that joint is full, like it's a wrap. Like what
that
our phone was
sparkle gonna
talking
be
about.
gone.
Yeah,
And you gonna
yeah,
be coming
that's
sitting
what I
on
was
my
about to say.
couch.
Yeah, once the light in the eyes dies, it's not a coming back from that. Like it's over with, you know. And I've done it. I've done it before too. I'm guilty of it. Not the cheating part, but it's just like, hey, babe, I gotta stay at work for another 2 hours. You know what I'm saying? Saying at the last minute when I was supposed to be home in 5 minutes. Yeah, I gotta be at work another 2 hours. It's like that's not enough for her to want to break up or nothing like that. So and I gotta get this work done. So it ain't no big deal. It is a big deal. She may not even mention it to you, but like if it's something you knew was wrong and she just wanted to deal with it, like you gotta either make up for it or like cut that shit out. You know, on both sectors. Like if a woman's doing something she ain't supposed to be doing, over time, and it builds up that bullshit meter, you gotta like just stop whatever it is. Like even if it's something that you don't like doing, like if you gotta spend more hours at home because she needs you at home, then just be at home. You know what I'm saying? But don't take advantage of her being like, well, it's okay, babe, or I ain't appreciate that, but to excuse bad bullshit behavior because it's only a certain amount of time somebody's gonna put up with that before they dip or get crazy on you. They may not dip, but you might get your tire slashed up. Or,
Lorraine or Bobbitt be missing some
uh,
parts you need.
I'd much rather she left in that situation.
You might come out and have glitter on your windshield with super glue, but
Sparkly,
yeah,
My Little Pony action on the
Yo,
car.
you know how hard glitter is to get rid of? Like that's some
It's
fucked up
there
shit. Somebody
forever.
put glitter on your car.
I've
That
never
shit
heard
gonna
of
be there
that.
forever.
You got to put that shit in the air ducts.
Glitter is
You gotta be
horrible.
Look, you gotta be efficient with your pettiness. Like put that shit in the air ducts. Wait till they turn that motherfucking air on full blast. It's in their beard. They fucked up wherever they finna go.
Last few episodes, you've been giving the shittiest advice. Like all of this stuff, this petty ass advice.
I'm finna start a service. Effective
Hey.
pettiness. Like motherfuckers be pettiness and don't get nothing out of it. Listen, I can help maximize the satisfaction you get out of your pettiness with some grade A fucking petty ideas. I ain't gonna do that shit because I'm a logical, rational human being. But if you gonna do it, let's do it effectively.
You gonna have clients too. That could be
Come on.
legit.
glitter super glue windshield, the worst thing ever.
You know, there's a service that like you could have an envelope sent to somebody that's full of glitter. Like there's a service that does that, and when they open it up, glitter just come out.
What?
Yeah. What? I can't
I'm
remember
gonna get that information from you.
Because again, glitter's so
Oh,
fucking
fine.
hard to get rid of. I hate glitter. It never goes away. It's there. 3 months later, you'll be like, I'm still seeing this fucking glitter. Like, what is it?
I'm telling
I can't get rid of it.
Y'all remember
you
when?
giving birth to your first child and see glitter from 2 years ago? Like,
Mhm.
what the fuck?
Didn't people used to do the body glitter thing?
I was never down with that.
Okay, I remember.
Yeah, they
I remember
used to.
seeing it in clubs sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm aging myself. Excuse me.
So I'm gonna add to that. A lot of dudes, like if you're a dude who don't cheat, be home, do what you need to do. Don't compare yourself to ain't shit motherfuckers. Like, don't
That's a
say,
fact.
well,
That's a
at least
fact.
I don't cheat. At least,
You want to cook it?
You know what I'm
What the fuck you supposed to do?
at least I be here. At least I do this and I do that. Like, don't do that. Like, don't make your base of comparison motherfuckers that already ain't shit. Compare yourself to
Yeah, that's real.
make the floor higher than that. Like that's the
real.
bare minimum. If you're not cheating and you're there and you do stuff for that person, you supposed to do that shit. The other folks just fucking up. You need a higher standard for yourself than comparing yourself to folks that ain't, worth a damn.
You
That's
also
real.
want to cook it for breathing? Are you supposed to do that too? Like,
Yeah, That's yeah.
Why you get a participation trophy? You chose to be in this relationship.
Yeah, Candace DeNae, the CEO of Reality Check
hate that
Incorporated.
shit.
Yeah, like and like I've tried it before, you know, to try to boost my argument, and how that get cut out immediately. She cuts all that bullshit out.
I mean, I really feel like if we handing out participation trophies, that just diminishes like the athletic prowess or the genius or whatever it is of this person that's actually trying and putting in work. Because everybody else get a fucking trophy too, but you tried harder.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you went for the MVP, but everybody else got some shit. Like, fuck that.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of reminds me of like when dudes be like, "Man, at least I pay child support." It's like,
Is that not your child?
yeah, that's your son, right? Okay.
He gotta eat, right?
Some niggas don't raise their kids. I mean, like, yeah,
Chicken nuggets ain't cheap.
you said that perfect, man. Like, if you a guy that's on his job, don't compare yourself to any shit, niggas. Like, you don't see LeBron James comparing himself to like, you know, junior high basketball. There's a reason for that.
And you just look like an asshole. Again, it's like, okay, you supposed to be doing that. So
That shit do make you feel stupid as fuck, especially if like she take that off the wall bullshit you just said and just put it down. Like, let's study this for a minute. This bullshit you just was speaking out your mouth, and what's wrong with that? It's like, I'm not gonna do that again.
He said she cut that shit out immediately.
Right? Like, nope, we're not going in that direction. Because now you're trying to play me like I married an ain't shit nigga. Okay, and I didn't.
Give you some different perspective. You're like, well, damn.
Yeah.
Sound like that from somebody's vantage point.
Right.
Just like, yes, you did, sir. Now let's do better.
So, well, yeah, where we at? Is it our turn or y'all turn or?
You just do the don't do for you. The don't.
Yeah.
yeah.
No, yeah, it's on point. Get 1, 2. Or what did that count? My bad.
I don't know where we're at. Somebody
I
go.
have no idea.
I don't know. I'll just go with it. Be intentional about the success of your relationship. And don't go with the flow and just let it unfold as it does. Like, you got to be intentional about your relationship. Like, this shit got to be on purpose. You know, everything you do.
It's work. A relationship is work. Regardless
Yeah,
of
man.
whether or not you want to look at, like, you gonna get what you put in back out. If you don't put shit in there and you just going along with the flow, exactly what you gonna get back.
Like, if
Yeah.
you get a new job and they just sit you at a desk and you don't really know what the fuck you supposed to be doing, they say, just do whatever, you know, you feel comfortable with. And, you know, some shit might get done. You might do some shit right, you know. Them motherfuckers lay out a plan, a strategy, how you get raises, how you get your ass fired. Like,
Right.
I know that's way too intense to lay out for a relationship, but you do have to have that kind of mind and that level of intentionality in how are we going to move forward? Where are we going to be in 5 years? You know what I'm saying? How are we going to get there? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's important to like have a plan. Motherfuckers just be together because we feel good when we're around each other
Yup.
and our hugs feel
Yup.
all right.
We look good together. Did you see us in that picture? We just look good together. Like, that is not enough of a reason.
Yeah, like, you need to be having some plan and intention behind why am I with this person.
Mm.
And it's okay if you are with a person and you don't want nothing out of it. But you need to let that motherfucker know so they can make a decision. You know, like,
Right.
don't have somebody stringing along behind you and you don't know what in the fuck you want. And they want something. You know, so
Right.
that goes to the dating part. But even after the relationship progresses to something, you know, bigger and stronger, you still need to have intention about where you're trying to be in a relationship.
Are you gonna have kids? When we gonna have kids? How many kids we gonna have? You know, the type of stuff that you have to plan out changes, but you still have to plan it out. You still have to be in agreement to have conversations and all of that shit.
How we gonna praise and worship if you religious? How we gonna fuck with our finances and our money? I mean,
Yeah.
how the fuck is our family gonna be involved in our relationship? Your mama can't watch the kids. Mine can though. You know them motherfuckers is not finna go to your uncle's house. That shit is dead.
That's that.
You know,
that-
we'll hire a babysitter.
He that uncle
Right.
that everybody be like, is Susie in there with John? Get her out of there. You know she can't be alone with John. Don't leave her with that uncle.
Like, it's a lot of shit that you gotta figure out how the fuck that is going to work if you want your relationship to be successful. Because that shit, at some point, all of these things are going to present a situation that you ain't prepared for.
Yeah.
And now And it ain't good to make a decision on the spurt, because now you figure out the dilemmas y'all got, the differences y'all got. But it's crunch time. You got to come up with something. So somebody gonna leave mad. So you got to have a plan for that shit.
And speaking of families, I just want to put this. This is more for like dating couples. Your family does not forgive just because you do. So you need to be very careful about what you are relaying to your family. Because if John makes you cry and you go and you sit and you tell your mama and your brother and your sisters how he ain't shit and how he been doing this for months and how much you hate him, and then you forgive John, your mama don't give a shit about that. She remember you crying on her shoulder because of John. Your brother don't give a fuck about that. He remember you crying on his shoulder because your family doesn't have a motive to forgive. Like, you have an emotional connection to that person, so obviously you got more invested, so you're willing to work through it. Your family, not so much. So be very careful about how much you're involving them, because that can be detrimental. Because now you looking at a couple of forevers, and they don't think this shit should last more than 5 minutes. Like, why you still talking to John? Now you got a problem. They got an attitude every time you bring John to the house.
Right.
Then it's an argument on the way. I don't know why your family keep on.
That's a really good point. You have to factor your family dynamic into it before you go talking to your family about any of it. Like, lucky for me, Candace's family kind of been an advocate for me in a whole bunch of ways. They didn't talk her off the ledge more times than once, like concerning me. So salute to them. But at the same time, like, I don't talk to my mama concerning anything having to do with my marriage. If Candace's name come up, it's like, Mom, we're not talking about her. Well, I'm gonna talk to you later. That's just because that's the dynamic. So I think that's very important what you mentioned, Rap.
Well, yeah, because at some point the rose-tinted glasses come off.
Mm-hmm.
She got real.
Yeah.
Y'all got families and friends and everybody else involved because y'all been around long enough, and you got to make some real ass decisions. And it's definitely better, like you were saying on point, if you can make those decisions before they happen. So y'all got a roadmap to navigate the shit, versus trying to be on this crunch time like, well, shit, the baby about to be born, we ain't buy no diapers. What we finna do?
Mm-hmm.
We gonna stop on the way to the hospital or on the way home?
Yeah. And every time you have to make
every time buying what's on sale.
Yeah.
And get no research.
Every time you got to make one of those snap decisions, like you said, somebody's gonna leave unhappy or unsatisfied in the situation.
Yeah. Because it's more than enough impromptu, unknown variable situations that's gonna come up where you do have to make a snap decision. The ones that you can account for, you need to have them. You need to have them shits out the way early in the relationship. And as far as family goes, like, if somebody said, we don't need to meet my mama, and you on that, I want to meet your mama stuff, you probably need to believe that person. You know what I'm saying? The reason why. Yeah. Because they're going to be like, okay, we're going to meet her as soon as you step on the porch. Oh, who this bitch is? And then that's when you know, oh shit, this was a bad decision.
Right. And don't get mad at me about that.
But that go into the communication too, because you got to communicate. Let me tell you why.
Why I don't want you to meet my mom. My crazy ass mama.
Right.
I mean, if you get married though, you need to at least know what this woman look like, so you don't come home got the dough and you trying to call the police, but that's just Ray mama. Like,
yeah, that's just Robert mama.
At some point, you got to at least show a picture.
Yeah.
Like, straight up, you just can't be like Uncle Sam. Like, you gotta know who Uncle Sam look like, so you not to leave your daughters over there. If you at grandma's house, you can't stay. Straight up.
Let me ask y'all this: if it's a little sidebar, I guess, but how do you guys feel about the silent treatment?
It's stupid.
Okay, because I definitely don't use that at all. She doesn't really either. Like, I probably talk too much, when I start getting emotional. But I have family members and friends who have used that, on their spouse or on their husband, on their significant other, and to me it seems kind of dumb. But I'm not a therapist,
so
it's stupid.
The silent treatment is different than needing time to overcome whatever your grievance or frustration is. Yeah. The silent treatment it's supposed to be teaching the person a lesson.
It's a punishment.
It's a consequence for I didn't get what I want. But that person also don't really know all the time what they did, how to resolve it, how to get past it. So, I mean, in one of the recent episodes, I was saying that if I do something that you don't like, let's air that shit out right now. Let me know what I did. Let me know how to resolve it. Let me know how to fix it. And then you can go and, do what you need to do to get yourself back to your, equilibrium, to your state of normalcy. Like, you can be silent after we worked out and figured out what's going on. But if you start being silent while I don't know what's going on, I'm going to get mad. You going to still be mad. And when we get to the point to resolve this shit, it's just going to be a blow up. That's all it can be at that point. That's all it can get to after that.
Now, a caveat to that, I do encourage, like, people to take timeouts if necessary. Like, and what I mean by timeout, like, if y'all are having this discussion and it's extremely heated and people, you feelings are getting upset, it's okay to take 15 minutes, so go to your separate corners. That's not the silent treatment. That's just kind of like, okay, I need to calm down. Like, if you've ever had a disagreement with somebody or argument and then you walk away from that and you be like, shit, I should have said this and I should have said that and I can't believe I couldn't remember that. It's because, like, when you get stressed out like that, your brain doesn't work the way that it normally would, so you forget shit. Now, that doesn't mean while you taking the time out, you make this list of shit you gonna go back in there and say, but it's so you can calm down. It's so you can calm down and, like, come back and talk in a reasonable, sensible way. And that serves, like, one of the purposes that serves is usually in relationships, there are two kinds of people. There are runners, there are chasers. Runners are the kind of people when shit get heated, I can't deal with you when you like this. I need a minute. I need to calm down. I need to get away from this situation. Chasers are the kind of people that is like, we gonna talk about this now. We gonna talk about it now. We ain't gonna never talk about it. I don't want you to be upset. We need to fix it. We need to fix it. So you got the runner trying to get away and calm down. You got the chaser trying to fix this situation right now. And y'all are basically running around in circles. The timeout gives the runner time to calm down and get that alone time. And the chaser knows that, okay, he walking away, but he's coming back because we already discussed this. And I know that sometimes he gets this way and he needs that time. So it gives them both the reassurance that they need. But yeah, it doesn't make any sense to just sit around mad and quiet for what?
And to add to what Red said, this is one of those things that it needs to be agreed upon and understood before being in an argument. Yes. Like, you can't just walk away and say, well, I needed that time, because I needed my 15-minute break. Like, it don't work like that. It needs to be, what I tell my clients is, have some kind of signal.
I say
have some kind of keyword.
Yeah.
Have something that indicates we get to that point.
Yeah.
I'm heightened, you heightened. We need to move away from each other for a little while. Come down and then come back into this situation so we can move forward, productively out of this.
I usually suggest
pineapples.
Funny. Yeah, pineapples or whatever. Like, mine would be I am Groot because I love Guardians of the Galaxy. So in the middle of an argument, I would just be like, I am Groot. I am Groot.
Yeah, that definitely needs to be established ahead of time. I'll be like, yo, what is going on right now?
I used to get my couples to come up with a movie that they both liked or a book that they both liked and come up with either they could say the name of that movie or, like, my last couple came up with the movie The Notebook. They just said they were going to say The Notebook when it came time when they needed to, break from each other. But it just need to be some consensus of knowing we're heightened or I'm heightened and I really would like to move away right now. And that's a system of accountability because if it get worse from there, the person don't let you leave. It's like, I gave the signal.
Yeah.
I tried to help.
Because the only way it works is if it's immediate. You don't get to finish your point. You don't get to, well, wait, let me just say this one thing. Like, that's not how it works. Once that is said, it's done. And you come back to it.
Who's the runner and who's the chaser with us?
You're the chaser, I'm the runner. But you know me and my temper.
Oh, okay. You know what? I agree with that.
Like, I don't want to talk about this. If you just keep talking, I'm just like, I just told you we're getting there.
Well, see, like, for me,
the fuck alone.
and that goes back to what she was saying about, like, being sterile. Like, because I can separate the point I'm trying to make and what I'm trying to understand completely away from my emotions for the most part. For her, like, it's more like spaghetti, and I can kind of compartmentalize like a waffle. And so she's like getting there, and I'm like, I don't understand why you're getting emotional, She's like, well, I need some time. I'm like, no, we doing this right now. We're gonna talk it out. And then, she drops the nuke or whatever, and I'll play the class. So yeah, okay. I've never heard that, the runner and the chaser.
Yeah, and most relationships have like somebody is one or the other usually, but the timeout works. It helps. And let me say this: I say 15 minutes max, and the reason why I say that is it ain't for you to get on the phone and talk to your mama, your sister, your cousin, your uncle. It ain't for you to leave the house and then forget
Oh,
about it and come back and she's still mad because you've been gone for 3 hours and shit. Now you want to talk about it because now I'm mad about you been gone for 3 hours on top of whatever we was upset about
we
before.
had a situation just like that actually.
So I say 15 minutes. That's a pretty good amount of time for you to like get your equilibrium and calm down and okay. And the purpose of it is just to say, obviously, the way I was trying to get them to understand it, they weren't getting it. How can I go back in here and try to
Hmm.
get them to understand where I'm coming from? That's the point of it. So I say 15 minutes max, just because any more amount of time, either you're gonna get some other people involved that don't need to be involved, you're gonna get busy doing some other shit, and you're not gonna want to do it, or somebody's gonna leave the house, and it's gonna
Hmm.
be a situation. So it's best for it to be. I usually say no more than like 15 minutes, and then come back because it needs to be resolved. That's another thing. People like to walk away from shit and sweep it under the rug. Then the rug get to be 8 feet high because you didn't sweep all of this shit up underneath it, and you
Right.
don't know how it got to be so bad because you've been sweeping shit under this rug for the past 5 months. Now you want to
Hmm.
try to unpack all of this stuff. It's too much at that point. So you absolutely need to come back when you have an issue. Resolve that issue. Now that whole not going to bed man shit, I don't know about that, but you need to resolve issues as they arise.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
And don't bring
now
up
you're
an
not
issue right
listening.
before bed because I'm trying to go to sleep and now you want to have this conversation that's going to take
Right.
3 hours.
Or you
You
finna
gotta
wake
go
up
to
my
work
dreams.
tomorrow.
Like I dream a lot. Like that shit will be in my dreams like a motherfucker.
Oh wow.
So make sure you pick also don't pick right before he finna get ready to start this tournament on 2K, whatever the fuck. I don't play the basketball game, so I don't know. Don't like wait till then and now you crunch for time and you got an attitude because he like, well, the game for the start, I gotta do this. Make sure you pick a time where both of you can commit to the conversation and you can actually
Mm.
problem solve. Don't pick before he getting ready to go to work or you getting ready to go to work over coffee. It ain't enough time. If it's important enough that it's caused this rift between you, it's important enough to devote time to it and say, this is when we gonna talk about this,
I
and
agree.
then fix it.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I guess it's on us. Our due is be spontaneous. So
Yeah, he has
unless
that
your
on his
marriage
list
get
too.
hella stale and shit, or your relationship get hella stale, it's not fun. That leads to wandering eyes and devil's playground type of shit. All the old sayings people say. But if y'all can't keep it spicy and y'all just dating, like it's gonna get even worse as married. And when you're married,
Man.
it's easier to become complacent. So you have to kind of keep doing things to spice it up. Like if you start to get bored, you have to assume your mate is starting to get bored too. And now it's time to introduce some things.
I mean, and you can't only like look at that through your own prism. So I'm the kind of person who can do the same boring thing every single day on certain things. Like I'm somebody who could eat chicken and mashed potatoes every day for the rest of my life. She's not that kind of person. You know what I'm saying? So, so like so I'm cool. I'm like, okay, we got a routine. It works for me. I'm happy. You know, I don't need a whole lot in a relationship. I'm more like a cactus, super low maintenance. She's more like an orchid. She needs all these different things, and the lighting got to be just right, and the water's got to be just enough. And if it's too much, then it's going to cause problems. And if you know that's the kind of person you married, you have to tend to them that way. You know,
I feel like you be trying to like play me like, yo, I'm a
man.
cactus. I'm not complex. I don't need.
I didn't say that.
your
I didn't say
fine
that.
ass.
I didn't say that. I said I'm low maintenance,
You
so I only need a
not.
couple things.
You not low maintenance.
Man, all right, talk to him then. Talk to him.
I'm like, he's not as quite as finicky as an orchid, but he's definitely like a fern. Like they need just this, they have to be just right, has to be just the right temperature, or the routine just don't work.
I don't agree with that.
I know you
I
don't,
don't agree with that.
but that's why we're sitting for these therapists now.
Right.
So number 2, don't oversimplify shit. People never cactus. The
Talk about
person
playing
who thinks
people,
they're a
golly.
cactus, you probably have some things you're not acknowledging, and that's why you think you're a cactus.
I want to talk about some of this stuff that you bringing up. I want to know what you talking about. How am I like high maintenance? Like for real.
First off, you emotional.
Oh yeah, I'm
You're
emotional.
emotional little motherfucker.
I'm emotional.
you definitely sometimes have the self-esteem issues, and it's ping pong. So sometimes it's up here and it's good, and sometimes it's down there and it's not.
I got bipolar self-esteem.
Yeah, something like that. So I'm just like, those two things alone denote complexity.
I think I do need a little bit of coddling sometimes. I guess.
You also have an ego out of this world sometimes.
I'm the man out here. You ain't know?
So I'm just like, it's all these little things I'm trying not to put you on blast on a podcast about, but you're not a cactus. It's not that fucking simple.
Okay, you know what it is? I think when I say that, maybe it's more that I am not vocal about the things I need in a relationship. Like, she asks me all the time, what do you need me to do, like, relationship-wise? And I'm like, just be you. That's not an answer.
It is not an answer at all.
Like, keep doing you. I'll find something to like, the subtext of that is I'll find something to complain about later. and that's not, that's not communicating with your partner, especially like when she's specifically asking you, what do you need me to do? But sometimes in my head, I'm like, if I'm requesting stuff, it means she's not doing everything right, and or she's doing something wrong, and in the moment she may not be doing anything wrong, but I'm like, why should I be requesting anything of her? Like, she gonna do what she want to do. Like, that's my attitude sometimes.
I'm from the West Coast. On the West Coast, we don't eat no damn grits. So I made what I thought was cheese grits, and I did not figure out until like our second trip to Alabama that I was not making cheese grits properly. And I'm sitting here like, this shit was wrong. But I didn't say anything.
They was straight, babe. You did your best.
No, it was wrong. You didn't say anything. Well, it was still edible. I'm like, but that's not the point.
Yeah.
Made this for somebody else, they'd have been like, what the hell is this shit?
So yeah, sometimes I have a habit of like treating her like a child emotionally. It's like, oh, I don't want to hurt her feelings, like she's fragile or something like that. Like, she's not a full-fledged adult that's been through some shit, that she can stand up to some criticism. So I'm like, well, I just appreciate her doing it at all. So I don't want to say anything negative, and maybe affect like that she's doing this stuff for me, rather than accepting, taking what she said at face value. If she's asking for criticism, then she wants criticism. If she's asking a question, then she wants to answer. It's not like it's just an ego fish for her. Like, she's just fishing for compliments or something like that. Yeah. So I need to work on that.
I think a part of that makes it more difficult is interpreting it as, what are you doing wrong? When it could be, what can you do just a slight bit better? You know what I'm saying? Like, just a perspective point of looking at it, because wrong is like a absolute. She might not be doing anything wrong enough to say, what am I doing wrong, or for you to interpret it as what I'm doing wrong, but what can I do differently that might have better results?
And
what can I do slightly better that could give, slightly better, results for what you're trying to achieve? It don't always have to be, what is she doing wrong, but it can be all, different alternative ways of doing things might lead to, a better way of, experiencing it.
And she didn't ask, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
She said, what is it that you need? And so the interpretation there is, I want to make sure that I'm still giving you what you need. Maybe it's changed, or maybe, again, like, maybe I could be doing something better, or she didn't say, what am I doing wrong? That was your interpretation of it. And saying, what do you need?
I think the other thing for me is like factoring back into the self-esteem thing. It's like, who am I to be asking anybody for anything? Like, her she's husband? Here. Like, shouldn't that be enough? I mean, I guess, but
you got to go. Sorry, I gave you permission to do this.
The psyche is still gonna tap into the core origin of whatever those issues come from. I mean, for the rest of our lives, like, if those self-esteem issues might come from how your mama treated you or how your family life was, then that has the most pressing, presence on your life. So even if you are even if that is your husband, you still gonna look at those issues like that, But I think the value is in recognizing when that happens, to be able to like divert it or turn it into something that can be beneficial, instead of letting it happen and now you're in the middle of it talking to her about it and it's influencing your relationship. Just because you just let it get to a point where you didn't really recognize it's coming fast enough, to be able to, be intentional about how you communicate about that thing.
Okay.
Yeah, Candace is attractive, and all men in the world, she chose you.
Oh,
that was a choice.
I'm the shit.
Thanks, Rob.
Because that was a choice. She chooses to be with you, so there's a reason behind that. And she chooses to want to stay with you, and that's evidenced by saying, what is it that you need? I want to make sure that I'm still giving you what you need. And I wish more people, that's amazing that y'all do that, would check in. Because people get complacent and they feel like, oh shit, we together, so that's good enough.
But that's not giving 100% effort and, you know, giving big ass thing with us 100%.
I think y'all was saying two different things. Like I agree with what he was saying. I agree with what you were saying.
It's one or the other.
Y'all was saying two different things.
Really wrong.
Absolutely. Candace and DeNae ain't got a grayscale either. Like things are really black and white a lot of the time. Like it's like, okay, it doesn't really matter what your intentions were. It's like what'd you do. That's what it boils down to at the end of the day for her.
Life is full of different shades of gray. Like that's
I know, but I honestly feel like too many people use the shades of gray as an excuse. You know, it's the crutch. Like I feel like the shades of gray have become such a clutch that I'm like, is anyone striving for black or white anymore? Or we just gonna stick with this gray shit? We all good with that? Okay.
She a drill sergeant, yo.
I'm a difficult personality. I will say that. I'm like real borderline type A.
Yeah. I mean,
at the end of the day, something has been done. Like at the end of the day, there is a black or white.
Yeah.
I think the whole grayscale existing gives more to consider in the outcome of that black and white. You know, I mean, black. If you get just black without details, you really blind to a lot of extra stuff. And I think that's what the grayscale does. It gives you the extra context that has created black, because you can do black 5 different times, but it can be all different times that need different responses to it.
Yeah.
You know, so the grayscale is just a measure of consideration for the outcome, not supposed to be like a cop out for, you know, trying to avoid the, you know, results of the outcome.
I agree with you.
My favorite thing to hear, and I mean this facetiously, is like when I hear somebody that's my age, 30 plus, talking about the reason they don't do something or do something is because they daddy didn't love them when they were 5. It's like, all right, at 30 something years old, dog, like, I mean, it's your behavior, and I understand that can happen because I got daddy issues too, but like, what are you going to do about that? Are you just accepting your behavior and that's the end of the situation? You gonna sit down with On Point or Red and figure it out, or you just gonna continue to neglect your children and continue the cycle? You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't stand that.
True. Yeah.
I think that comes from people that believe the world revolves around them too. Because to be honest, after you 19 and 20, every fucking body you meet got mom and daddy issues with yours.
I mean, I jokingly always tell my clients, like, childhood is the thing we spend our adulthood trying to get the fuck over. Like, it just,
I like that.
There's different things from everybody's childhood, but essentially, the shit that happens to us in childhood they're things that stay with us, and they're things that we have to process. So, you know, that's not an excuse for you to be an asshole, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, at some point, you're responsible for your choices, and at some point, you get to decide what you're going to do with those experiences. Either they can define you, or they can just add to you, and you can move on from that. But, you know, it's not an excuse just to do whatever the fuck it is that you want to do. Because if that was the case, everybody would be out here just being a narcissistic
Just running wild.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much.
I've always envisioned in my head taking somebody like that into the middle of a crowded street and just point out people and say, he was abused by his damn daddy. You see her? She got beat like hell by her alcoholic ass mama. You see this person? Oh, her mama and daddy both left her with grandmama. Like, I just want to sit there just, everybody fucked up. You ain't the only one. We all fucked up at this point. You know what I'm saying? You don't get no fucking special cookies for your level of fuck uppiness. Right. You know, get with the fucking picture, get with the program, and struggle through that shit like the rest of us, or get some help and struggle less than other people.
Because all you're doing is like continuing the cycle, and you're gonna have kids who gonna have the same fucking issues that you do because you're doing what your parents did. At some point, you have to take responsibility for your life, because it is your life
too. As I think what you're saying can apply to relationships too. We all had shitty ass relationships. Don't carry
Oh
it to the
yeah,
next one.
yeah. That can be tough
No.
though. Sometimes
I mean, learn from it and don't carry it to the next one.
and I think that's why a decompression period, like this is just me personally, like your decompression period between most relationships, you need to sit back and be able to analyze what you did and did not do right. Like, was there something about the way you selected this partner? Was it something negative that they were doing that attracted you to them? Like, how can you do better for next time? And if you was in a relationship that, you need to heal from it first before you do a rebound thing and waste somebody else's time. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm not a therapist.
Man,
There.
listen. All of the shit that y'all saying and a lot of shit that a lot of other people saying is therapist shit. We just got some credentials behind saying.
Yeah, I ain't got a license.
You know
We
what
can
I'm saying?
charge for that shit. That's basically
I mean,
what it means.
we got words like reflection, and we got different words to get behind all the
Our
shit.
statements.
Yeah, we got words behind all the shit most people do anyway.
Yeah.
It's just that once you in a relationship, like it's one of them situations where from the inside looking out, it's difficult to assess. From the outside looking in, it's different. And so therapy is from somebody just give some fresh eyes to a situation that might be able to help you get out of some of these patterns that you are in that are destructive to your relationship, or how to build new patterns and a new culture for your relationship if it's not going in the direction that you want to go. It's just outside looking in. How can how can my eyes help y'all situation?
And it's not for me to decide who right and who wrong and me to take side, because I can't stand that shit either. I don't give a shit about what y'all like. I'm not gonna take sides. That's not what it is. Usually both people have contributed to the problems within the relationship. It's about problem solving. It's not about who's right, who's wrong, who's good, who's bad. Those kind of things, anytime that you have a winner in a relationship, it means you also have to have a loser. And don't nobody want to lose. So you have to go into it with the attitude of, we're going to solve this problem. Now I'm going to go in here and I'm going to win. And she going to take my side. And she going to tell you that you ain't shit like I've been telling you for the last 3 months. That's not how it works.
And come in there and get the sour face. You're like, no, it's not what I'm doing.
No.
Y'all both ain't shit.
Pretty much. Because that's how it works a lot of times. It's like, both of y'all been fucking up. Well, he cheated first. Okay, girl, that don't mean that you need to go out here and sleep with his friend. Like, that doesn't make you right in this situation. Not how that works. Y'all both fucked up. How about that?
Yeah, couples ask me, when they try to bring me to that who is right, who is wrong shit, I be like, everybody right. Or everybody wrong. Both of y'all right from y'all own independent perspectives. Both of y'all wrong from my perspective. So we need to figure out how to fix this shit.
People hate when you say that shit too.
I was about to say, like, is that a way that you get clients off your book quickly, Doug? That seems like that'll get people out.
That don't come until they love me enough to take it.
Oh, okay.
I'll do that in the beginning sometimes. I had to bust bubbles like, listen, I'm not finna come, you're not gonna come in here and I'm not gonna tell him that he's a terrible, horrible husband and that he ain't been shit from the beginning. That's not what I do. We're here to solve problems, not point fingers. Y'all been pointing fingers before you got in here. You don't need a third finger in the mix.
Yeah, therapy come in phases. Like, it's a lot of shit I don't do until I know how effective I can be.
Yeah.
If you know how effective I can be, I know you're ready to hear what need to be said. I can't say what need to be said on the first date.
No.
Y'all already don't want to be there. It's already bullshit going on between y'all. The last thing y'all need is a stranger that call himself a professional telling y'all fucked up.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I have to tell that takes time a lot too. Parents will bring a kid that's been molested in and be like, well, y'all hadn't talked about it. Fuck no. She don't know me. Why would she want to come in here and tell me about the most horrific thing that happened to her and we don't have any kind of relationship? I'm not going to have her come in and be like, so what happened? Like, you have to build up and develop trust. They have to want to talk to you. So yeah, it does happen in stages. You can't just like bust out the gate with stuff, because that turns people off, and they're not ready usually yet. That you have to get them to a place where they're ready.
And it turns people off to therapy as a whole. Especially like a lot of people I meet that's been to therapy as kids. That was just a bad experience for most people, and that's what usually turned them off to therapy. Because a lot of therapists just think they don't treat kids like people. They treat kids like the adults treat kids. Children ought to be seen to be heard. We know best. We gonna tell you this. I treat all my kids like they are motherfucking human beings with the same level of, fuck word I'm trying to find. With the same level of motherfucking humanism as me. I mean, that don't make sense, but y'all know what I was trying to get to. You know, I give them a voice. I let them be heard. I don't tell them, you know, like their mama telling them, do this, do that. I don't just, you know, I don't put myself in and I tell parents, I'm not a disciplinarian. I don't call me if you need the boy, somebody knock him over his head. You better call somebody else. Yep. I'm going to talk to him like he's a fucking human being. You know what I'm saying? A lot of kids don't get that shit, and it turned them off to counseling as like adults when it comes to that shit. Yep. That's what I experience a lot of when I'm dealing with adults, you know, in that situation.
Or that sounds like me. Come in and want to get like a rundown. Like, if he wanted to tell you this shit, he would have just told you this shit. Like, you have to afford them some kind of privacy. I always tell my parents, like, from the beginning, if they being hurt in some kind of way, absolutely, I will let you know. If it's something serious, but like as far as like you wanting an update every time they come in, no. Because if they wanted to talk to you about this, that's what they would do. They would come to you with this. You know, obviously I'm serving a purpose. Let me serve my purpose. You know, when they get there and they're ready to talk to you, cool. But I ain't no snitch, basically.
That's why I had to tell that woke ass hotel mama today. I ain't telling you shit.
I ain't no snitch, man.
I told her that in my own therapeutic, you know, verbiage. That's what it was in my head.
I ain't no snitch.
So I think.
Go ahead.
Ma, go ahead.
No, you.
Oh,
somebody say something.
No, my bad. Okay, so I was gonna say like when I was talking about like I don't really like therapists, it was only like in the moment, and like I think maybe possibly for me, I just had some bad therapy experiences. Like something I was gonna ask you guys, like when I was younger, I was probably in therapy like solid, probably between like 12 and maybe 17. Like I was going, you know, every other week, just about, you know, maybe once a week. And it got to the point for me, based on, you know, I bounced to probably about 4 different therapists, and it got to the point where I was like, all right, I'm gonna try to turn this into a game to see how much information I can find out about the therapist, why they wanted to be a therapist, do they have any issues themselves? Because this didn't do this shit for me. You know what I'm saying? Based on, you know, some of the techniques y'all talking about, like people do coming into things sledgehammer style. Like, I know why you're here. This is what we're gonna talk about right now because I know why you're here. This is what your mom told me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I wanted to know, like, do you guys ever have kids trying to play like those kind of like psycho analysis type of games because you know they saw one too many episodes of CSI or some shit and now they think they know everything about therapy?
Yeah, they do. See, for me, the way I look at it is, and this tap dances on ethical boundaries for therapists because they tell us don't self-disclose unless under very specific circumstances and instances.
Stupid. I've never understood. Like, I understand why you don't want to. Like, the session's not about you, and I understand why you don't want to make it about you. But I feel like there's, especially with kids, there's a certain amount of self-disclosure that has to happen because this kid has to feel like this person can help me. Kids, especially, adults do too. But like, if I'm another authority figure. I'm gonna come off as another authority figure otherwise. Right. So I feel like there has to be a certain amount, especially with kids. So like, I mean, and I've had them ask, why you want to do this job? How long you been doing this job? You got any kids? Do you want kids? Like, I get those questions a lot from teenagers, and for the most part, I answer them like, you know, as long as it ain't nothing too evasive or like something that's gonna take us off track of this is about you, it's not about me. But I get wanting to know who you know, disclosing your deepest, darkest secrets to. You know, you don't want to do that to somebody like you feel like is a stranger. So, yeah, I never understood that rule of how strict they are about self-disclosure because, I mean, I done been through therapy myself. That's another question I get. Have you ever had therapy? I have. And I don't want to talk to you if I feel like you can't relate to me or you're not going to understand me. Like, I don't. Yeah. And I'm not going to open up. And kids especially are that way. So.
And I tell my kids, look, I'm an open book. Whatever you want to know, ask me, I'll let you know. So, I mean, that shit would have worked out fine for you. You would have knew everything you wanted to know from me. Yep. And by design, though, it would have been too probably boring for you because it's like, well, hell, he just telling me every damn thing.
Yeah, now the game over.
you know, like,
now we got to get to the problem.
Like, as a therapist, if I expect you to tell me about your life, I just feel it's slightly hypocritical for me to sit here and have to block out everything about me. Especially when it's an individual and a kid that's growing. But see, the population I work with, which is Medicaid, low cost, low poverty, poor environment. I work in the community. I drive, I go to their homes and to their schools and do my sessions.
Oh wow.
They need a mentor. They need a father figure.
Yeah,
They need somebody to help them understand and learn about life. So it benefit them to know. It benefit our relationship for them to let me know. Look, my daddy got locked up when I was 3. He stayed locked up till I was 14. Like that's just the life I had. Let me tell you about my experiences with that shit while it was happening and going on. Yeah. Like that benefit me for the kind of population I work with. Like they need somebody to connect to through common experiences.
Yeah. I had an alcoholic parent, and so I, especially if that's the basis of the kid, I'm an example of shit gets better. I feel like so for me to let you know, like, yeah, I had an alcoholic parent. I know that that's what you are here for, but that doesn't have to define who you are. That's their issue. It's not yours type shit. So I do the same thing. I work for a nonprofit here that we provide one of the only free services in the area for people that don't have insurance or have access to services otherwise. So I get to say a lot of the same, like kids with parents that can't afford to like take them other places. I also work a lot with DHR and get like the parents who did shit to their kids, which is a whole nother topic altogether. But I think you have to let them know that you understand them. So I don't, when kids ask me questions, I answer them.
But they do play games. Yeah, they do. They ain't smart as me.
Yeah.
Now don't get me wrong. Some of them have the potential and the IQ to be smarter than me one day.
Yeah, but not right
today.
Now.
Not today. Not today, bro.
So we finna be at 2 hours and 10 minutes.
Damn.
Yeah, this is officially our longest episode, but also I feel like it's one of the best. You know what I'm saying? But let's get one more final, word of input from the experience, the relationship, and a little bit, one more from the,
therapeutic.
What y'all got?
I mean, I would say like overall, as far as relationships go, don't believe that shit you see on TV. Like that's what's gonna get you fucked up. Like for real. Like this marriage thing it's another job. It's hard work. It's fulfilling. Absolutely, I wouldn't trade it for anything. But it's something that you have to tend to day in and day out if you don't want it to slide into the abyss. Like you have to be very cognizant of your partner. You have to be cognizant of yourself and what you think and what you want, and how to communicate that type of stuff to your partner. I think a lot of people they see the roses and they don't see all the planting in the soil and all the tilling and all that other stuff kind of stuff that had to happen behind the scenes in order to get to that point. So people always see the baby, they don't see the labor, and there's a whole lot of labor and things that have to go into that. So I think the thing that I always give, like if I was to give advice to anybody, and sometimes I do, it's know yourself enough to know to be cognizant of whether marriage is proper for you. Some people ain't built for marriage. They aren't the kind of people who have that kind of personality, to be depending on someone else and communicating that kind of way. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you need to know you're that kind of person before you enter into it with someone else. What are your thoughts, babe?
I mean, it's one of those things where like the grass is greenest where you water it. So yeah, it may look good from across the street until you get up on it and you see that shit ain't been watered in a week. So
yeah, it's the brownish green.
Yeah, marriage is like if you ain't put no water on it, you don't have that super church bro shit. Like you need to be very intentional. Just like if you're doing your garden, you're planting carrots, you're planting this, you're planting that. You know exactly what you're putting into it. You know exactly how much work it's gonna take in order to yield your harvest, and marriage is definitely one of those things. So if you don't want to work hard, make sure you're dating someone who doesn't want to get married. You're probably gonna have to work that damn hard. So giving them shit in the beginning, and when they accept the shit, you're good. Right. But if you're not down for that hard work, sweat, being out in the sun, having your hair get napped up after you just got it done, like don't do it.
Yeah, intention is a key word. I agree with that.
But other than that, it's kind of
fun. It's worth it if you into it, but you got to be into it, like all the way into it. Not, hey, I want a ring, or I like weddings,
Yeah, just
or I want a baby.
yeah, I would say don't compare your relationship to anybody else's.
That's
Like,
another thing
Untouchables
too.
is great, and everybody want to be Claire and Cliff,
It's
but
just a TV show.
yeah, it's a TV show, and you don't know, what type of ins and outs would have been required for Claire and Cliff, plus all them damn kids to be happy as they was. Like, unrealistic. But when you're looking at if you're looking at your relationship through the lens of somebody else's, it's never going to be right.
Man, quick soapbox. I don't understand I think it's good in a way that, celebrity couples get praised because, that shows, hey, if other people are working it out, maybe I can too. But I think it's really stupid to be looking at someone else's relationship that you don't know the inner workings of and saying dumb shit like couples goals. You don't know shit about Jay-Z and Beyonce. You don't know shit about, Will and Jada. You don't know shit about, Brock and Michelle. Saying that you want their relationship may not be something you really want. They look good on in pictures and on the internet. You don't know what's going on in that relationship.
Michelle in that ass though.
She got a booty. Not that that had shit to do with what I was saying, but
But we all know.
Quit deflecting, bruh. Why you deflecting? So yeah, don't look at someone else's plate when you don't have any idea about how the food got onto it in the first place. You don't really know it's there because you're comparing yourself to a fantasy that you have in your head. Those two.
Okay. So from my side, love is fantastic. Love feels great. Love is amazing. Love is wonderful. But love ain't enough by itself.
Nope.
Love is like a goddamn signing bonus. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what love is. It's a signing bonus like a motherfucker. You got to put in work on this contract to maintain them motherfucking bonuses, Yes. So love takes, or a relationship takes effort. A relationship takes intentionality. A relationship takes each person trying to put in as much as they can to make that shit better tomorrow. Now, I learned something in my diversity class, and I kind of apply to other shit. Like at the point, what I learned in diversity class was he said, no, don't leave this class thinking you know something. Leave this class knowing that you don't know enough to continue to search and learn about these things and these people. So I applied it to life. I applied it to relationship. I applied it to people. Even with your mate, don't assume because you know them better than you know anybody else that you know enough to stop learning about them. Continue to grow and learn with that person, and and hope that they grow with you and learn you, and y'all can continue to be like a intertwined bind that you can't fucking get apart, or a knot that you can't never goddamn get untangled. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how it should be.
The only thing that I would add is that people need to be aware of the fact that relationships ebb and flow. It's not going to always be good. And just because it's not good doesn't mean that you walk away from it. You should be with the person that you want to be with during the bad time. Because they're going to be bad times. Shit is going to, you're going to act, you're going to feel like, I don't know who this person is that I didn't marry. You're going to feel like you change and you grow throughout the course of your lifetime. That doesn't stop because you get with somebody. They're going to grow. They're going to change. You're going to grow. You're going to change. Hopefully that will be together. But know that there are going to be ebbs and flows. It's not going to be perfect all the time. And that's okay. Nothing is perfect all the time. And if you wanting to run at the first sign of trouble, you need to reevaluate the relationship as a whole, because there are going to be highs. There's going to be lows. There are going to be in between days where you just kind of floating along and shit is just cool. It ain't great. It ain't bad. We're just floating. There are going to be those times. So, don't look for a relationship that's going to be perfect, and don't be out here trying to be relationship goals.
Good luck on that if you are.
You relationship goals today when you find out goddamn Will and Jada drank goat's blood for dinner. Then your ass gonna be on some other shit now. I don't want that no more.
Are you sure? That's how they got to where they had. Go get you some goat blood.
Where you gonna get a goat from?
I have a goat story, but I'm not gonna go.
See, you different. Like normal people don't know where the hell to find no damn goats. Will and Jada, if they drink goat blood, they probably got a whole goat fucking factory somewhere.
Right.
Ew. I just have that image. The imagery isn't pleasant. A goat factory.
That's where they manufacture them. That's where they come from. That's why they.
But I mean, that's where we at. Y'all got anything else on your mind?
Nah.
Y'all want to hit y'all social media up one more time?
Yeah, you do the social media, baby.
All right. Y'all can check us out on bynkradio.com or bynkradio.net under podcasts. We're there with our brother podcast, DeNae. Like, we share a podcast page.
Mm-hmm.
You can also find us at Black.Married.Fly on SoundCloud, on iTunes, and coming soon on Stitcher and Google Play. You can find me on social medias, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, at Candace DeNae, that's CANDACE_DENEA. And you can find Treblemaka on
Twitter and Instagram. That's Troublemaker, TREBLEMAKA. If you we also have a YouTube channel. Like, it's under BYNK Radio. So if you search BYNK Radio, you'll see a couple of our podcasts and some other things that we have going on. But yeah, just Google Black.Married.Fly. If you put it in Google, just Black space Married space Fly. We're like the first 5 or 6 entries, and check us out, man. Thank you, guys.
Cool.
All right. It was good having y'all on there. Appreciate y'all for taking this time out of y'all wonderful Saturday to chat
This was
with
dope.
us.
This was
We
dope.
don't get to be
Appreciate you having me.
therapists. Like, we talk shit on the. I'm sure people don't even believe, at least me. It's actually
Shit, me either. All my petty goddamn aspirations.
We don't sound like therapists at all. Most
I'm
of the
be
time.
real.
But we
Like,
got a
I wasn't
chance.
y'all were.
So what?
Shogun had to confirm some things. I was like, are they what they say they are, man? Because sometimes they don't sound like that. And he had to confirm some things. So.
Like I said, we bring our personality into the counselor. So this is who I am regularly. The therapist side is a little bit different.
Yeah, hopefully this